republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first order of business is to select the meeting moderator for tonight. Anybody wanting to do that?
I'll make a motion that Tom Staley.
I'll support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Tom, you're up.
Roll call.
Do a roll call.
For what?
Roll call?
For what?
If you're here or not.
Okay. I'm doing, all right, Dean Cruz,
Here.
Kolodowski,
Here.
Hall, here, Stady,
Here.
Brian Cruz.
Here.
Lachinsky.
Here.
Okay, consideration of approval of the meeting agenda. First off, we have a presentation from the Michigan Rural Water Association award presentation for first place in the 2019 Water Taste Contest. Item B under presentation, Sarah Archer pursuing a grant through Networks Northwest on a recycling site for recycling electronics. Communications and announcements, Krista Johnson letter regarding Payne Aquatic Center. Item B, the Smart Trails April 15th, 2019 minutes. Item C, the MRA Spring, Summer, Fall Program flyer. Then there's public comment, followed by department and committee reports. A is Operations Services, formerly Wade Trim, their monthly report. B is Office of the Zoning Administrator report. C, Planning Commission. There is no Zoning Board of Appeals report or Board of Review report. Downtown Development Authority Director's report. No Developed Fiber Ad Hoc Committee report. The Fire Department report number H. Personnel elections also did not meet, I and J, so no reports there. Item K, Building and Grounds Committee report. And item L, the PEG Commission report. And also the Manistee PEG Commission bylaws and rules of procedure. Under new business, consideration of approval for Intel mid-range computers with Windows 10 for the Township Clerk and Zoning Administrator / Assessing Computer, 2 Microsoft Office Home and Business 2019 software, and upgrade license for Treasurer's Computer to Windows 10 in the amount of $2,201 from IT Right, quote number ITRQ 14198. Item B, consideration of approval in the amount of $400 to Gary Schrader for 6 feet of tennis court repair at the Oak Hill Rec Center. Item C, consideration of approval in the amount of $600 to Gary Schrader for sealant and removal of concrete at the Filer Township Fire Department. Item D, discussion on township-owned property is being taken off the agenda for tonight as they do not have any information on that at this time. And item E, discussion on a recycling site for the recycling of electronics in Filer Township. Any other additions or corrections to the minutes for the agenda? There being none, I would accept a motion to accept the meeting agenda.
I so move. I'll second.
A motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to approve the meeting agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Consideration of approval of consent agenda. Item A, the minutes of the regular board meeting held May 7th, 2019. B, the financial report. C, approval of the township general fund expenditures, including the fire department, checks number 36615 through 36698. Accounts payable of $44,428.77, payroll of $14,058.12, for a total of $58,486.89. The approval of water department expenditure checks number 2597 through 2605, totaling $12,358.16. Approval of sewer operating expenditure checks number 1037 through 1038 for a total of $584.42. And approval of sewer construction expenditure check number 162 totaling $133,600.56. Item G, the approval of township officials to attend the MTA professional development retreats in the month of July at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air at a cost of $329 each plus accommodations. Item H, approval for the West Michigan Repeater Association in Manistee County to participate in the simulated emergency test called Field Day, to be held June 22nd and 23rd, 2018 at Gilroy's Hardware Parking Area. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion. I'll support it.
Motion by Dale Kolanowski, second by Tom Achinsky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion is carried and the consent agenda is approved. Right now we have a presentation from the Michigan Rural Water Association. Mike, you want to?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Miner. I'm a wastewater technician with Michigan Rural Water. I'm with them about 14 years or so. And a little history on why we're here tonight. We hold a technical training conference every year for the water and wastewater operators in March. And one of the things that we do with that is we have a water taste test competition, and the operators can bring in samples from their communities and enter in the competition. And what we'll do is we'll set up a board or a panel of judges consisting of some rural water board members and some USDA rural development staff. And they will run through a complicated blind taste test of all of these water samples that the operators bring in, and they narrow it down to a winner. And here to present that award this evening, and the winner of that award for this year is Five Township. So something great. And congratulations. Great.
Thanks,
Mike. Award. So we just need to get a few pictures of you.
Yeah.
Stand in front, maybe.
Let's just hope we take first in nationals. That'd be nice.
Stand up here, then he can get photos of it.
Okay.
You can get one from me too. You take a couple.
Well, I guess he's going to accept the award.
Just touch Amy.
Now you're blocking the other camera, Frank.
That's moving. I'm moving slow.
Moving slow.
Put my block in here now.
You're fine.
Looks pretty good.
Good. Right. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
We'll have to put that somewhere on a shelf in the office, so.
Good morning.
Ready?
We're gonna take that sign that's out there on the corner of 31 and Red Apple and try and get a picture of that and put it on that sign and set it out here.
Oh.
When the people come pay their water bill, they can see that.
Now we got 1 in 50 chance to win nationals.
Okay.
Yes. Your trip to go to Washington to
Next February.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
it's harder to do it once than the rest of the nation. So, thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay, item B on the presentation is Sarah Archer.
Good afternoon, I guess evening. How is everyone tonight? I think most of you know me, I'm Sarah Archer, Municipal County's Recycling Coordinator. And I'm just really here to present an opportunity to you. It's still something that's really under a lot of investigation and research, but the DEQ, which is now called the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, here we go, EAGLE, has released a grant recently to establish rural locations for recycling of electronics. And Networks Northwest, I'm sure you're probably all familiar with them. They're kind of used to be NEMCOG up in the Northwest Michigan region of governments. We have a solid waste advisory committee that I attend on behalf of Manistee County, and we're looking at applying regionally for this grant. And so what we are looking at, because the state is really looking for regional projects, they're really wanting to support regional projects to collect electronics, because that improves the logistics of collecting for the recyclers to be able to go to a number of different drop-off locations. And so we talked at a meeting last month pretty extensively. We had a special meeting just to discuss this grant about potential locations that would make sense for our region to have electronics drop-offs. And of course, Bay Area Recycling for Charities has their location in Calava that they're still getting reconstructed after their severe fire that may potentially be a site for electronics drop-off, but it really only serves the more northern part of our county. And so we were looking to try to find a location or have a discussion about opportunities in this lower part and more populated area of Manistee County to perhaps have an electronics drop-off site. So the way that the grant operates right now is they know that not everybody's going to be able to just transition and set up a drop-off right away. So it's a 2-year grant. And so the deal is, if we get this grant, is that at the end of the 2-year period that there would be a permanent location established. By permanent, the state is defining that as you have 1 day each month that's open to the public for at least 4 hours. So it is not a real stringent, like every day of the week open, it's just a once a month type of opportunity. The grant itself funds the establishment, if you need forklifts or you need containers to hold the materials in, it helps pay for that. It does not pay for the cost of operating, so not staff or anything like that. So those are things we would still need to identify. But right now, our focus is just kind of so that we can write it into the grant, identify potential locations. So really, when I talked to Terry a couple of weeks ago, it was really about would Filer Township perhaps be interested in partnering with us on this grant to perhaps just be a location for one of these drop-off sites. We don't have to specifically identify a location at this time. It's really, for me, I'm just trying to feel out and do some research and answer any questions that you might have, should we get this grant. We had the staff person from the state at our meeting, and he's the one that's in charge of this grant, and he seemed pretty interested in helping us to establish a grant these different sites in the Northwest region here, Michigan, because the rural communities are really underserved in Michigan for rural recycling. Some of the stipulations around it is that we would have to work with a licensed vendor. Every electronics vendor in our state has to be licensed and registered with the state of Michigan. And so that's part of the stipulation, is that we know we would be dealing with someone who is up and not, and just taking these materials to their garage and taking out the valuable parts and then dumping them in the back 40 somewhere. These are folks that have to be qualified to receive that registration. So really, that's, if you have any other questions, we don't have a whole lot of details yet. It's just kind of a research mission at this point to see what communities might be interested in kind of collaborating on this.
Does the grant pay for rent, say, on a building or something?
It does not pay for the lease of a property. Again, so that's part of what we would need to establish is if there's community location or even an existing business that might be interested. Some of the other counties, some of their thoughts for establishing a site was that, because it would pay for us to even just get one of those pods or a trailer or to build a storage building. So if there's even an existing location that one of those could be situated, so that it's just manned and staffed that once a month and open to the public, that would be kind of how it would be. And it's not, I'm not standing here saying that it would have to be a Filer Township staff person that's supervising it. Again, it's more about the convenience of the location and access for residents to find it and bring their materials to. I mean, Terry and I were kind of thinking about some of the locations, and he mentioned that he's talked to a few of you, and you kind of threw out a couple of ideas about potential locations that might work out, so. But again, you're pretty well situated in the county as far as, having perhaps properties that could do that, or businesses that you could suggest that we might approach to see if they'd be interested in working with us on a project like this. I still am going to address some other municipalities as well to see if they have, any interest in participating in this as well.
Any other questions from anyone?
So there's really no, like I said, there's not a lot of detail yet. We don't have it like pinned down. The grant itself does not require us to have that level of detail. It's more that they know we're going to be, that we want to apply for it. We have that 2-year period to figure out really all the details and logistics and where it's going to be sited, who's going to man it, what the hours going to be, and those kinds of things.
Well, I'm sure Terry will keep in touch with you.
Okay.
since you've been
Yeah,
talking
you're right, and
about
I'll keep him up to date too.
it.
I did talk to the folks that were writing the grant. Networks Northwest is kind of taking on the role of writing the grant itself, and they're still wrapping up the template. They met with the guy from the state again and have trying to fine tune some of the details of what they're looking for. So they're just in the process still of applying for the grant and getting that done. But the sooner the better is what they told us. Even though the grant deadline is August 1st, they really would like us to get it in sooner because they do have limited funds available for it. So I think he's trying to encourage us to apply because he wants to see it given to us in the region. So thanks for considering that and helping us out. It's kind of one step closer to trying to get something bigger and better going in this county.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. Pardon?
Public comment. We're going to read the communication.
Well, there's communications first. In your packet, there's a communication from Krista Johnson regarding the Payne Aquatic Center. I don't know if people will have a chance to read that. I'm not sure why she didn't send this out to the schools since they're the ones who actually operate that. I think all we can do would be forward this out to them as well. See what they have to say about it. Because right now, we just buy a service from them, so we don't have any control over any of the other things that she mentions. Item 2, the Smart Trails report we've got. If anybody else is here from that? Just keeping us informed as to what's going on. And the spring and summer fall programs at the MRA, just so we're aware of what's on, if anybody's interested in signing up for these things. Okay, public comment. Okay, no public comment. Under department and committee reports, you've got your operation services report. I don't think there's anything unusual about that. Seems to be moving along rather well. Under Office of Zoning Administrator, the zoning report, looks like we've got 5 different things that are approved or waiting for approval on in the township.
Did a water report, the numbers are all over the place for February, March, and April.
Well, some of those are when they were running out of water.
No, April, they weren't. I didn't see a lot of difference from 18 to 19. And then March, it went way down. 18 to 19. Pretty drastic
Mike, what about that?
That would have been your water running.
No, that's a decrease. In March. 2 million gallons.
Have the planning commission special meeting minutes, as well as the regular meeting minutes. Do you have anything you want to add, Shirley?
No, we are going to continue our two meetings a month, one meeting devoted to master plan, the other one for our regular meeting until we're done with the master plan process.
And the program last night, was that part of the planning commission?
No,
No, that was,
That's
that's EDA, you're right. Also have the DDA's regular meeting proposed minutes, as well as their financial report. And they did do a presentation last night with the days in on the Gibbs Planning Group plan. Looks rather interesting. Very taped it, so I guess you can find it probably on YouTube if you weren't able to be there. But I know Tom was there. And Shirley,
You two or Peg?
Both.
Oh,
yeah, it's on.
It'll be on Charter starting tomorrow, and it's currently on YouTube.
Okay. The director's report from DDA as well. And the fire department report, do you have anything to report, Jim?
Just one little typo on the report, it should be 120 medical calls, or it should be 100 medical calls, not 120. But we had a fairly busy month, 24 calls total, 20 medicals, 4 fires, 4 calls to Horizon Point. So it gives us a run total for the year of 122. Gary Schrader's doing a really nice job on painting on the fire stations, looking really good. Again, the burn permits are off and on, depending on what the DNR is telling us as far as the weather reports. So they've been off and on. We've been issuing a few. There's some people that are doing some construction and clear cutting, and so they're burning some brush. The training has been ongoing, and it's going to increase a little bit now that the weather finally got nice. Frontline Services was in for 4 days, and they did our annual truck inspections, pump testing, and everything on our trucks. All the trucks have been DOT certified. They've all passed the pump tests. They've all passed the DOT inspections, and that bill will be forthcoming. It's around somewhere around $5,000 for that annual inspection. Work continues inside the station as time permits. And we participated in the Touch a Truck Day up at Catholic Central last month. It was a huge success. There was about 42 trucks up there there was just a big truck touch. Kids could come and climb on them and touch them. And there was about 42 trucks and about 200 kids and parents up there. So it was really a good day for that. And kids got to climb all over the equipment, and they got to go in fire trucks and so on and so forth. So it's a good day for that. We went out and we did a check on the fire break that we put in a year or so ago. We did a check on that. We did a walkthrough just to make sure, because part of our responsibility with the contract is just making sure that the path the trail is passable. Make sure there's not any branches and stuff down in the way, from wind damage or from the winter. So we did that walkthrough this year. Everything was okay with that. So the only other question I have is, do we know when do they do the flushing of the hydrants? We went and we did some training last night, and we found a couple hydrants that are inoperable down in Father City. They need to be taken care of. One on Sherman and Filer, and the other on Sherman and Warren Street. We we couldn't get them open, so we couldn't pull water, so, they need to be repaired, so. I know that, Logan was gonna text or email, Mike on it to let him know that what we found last night, that we're doing that, so. I don't know when he was gonna do I don't know when he planned on doing the hydrant flushing.
I thought they started.
I haven't heard
That's-
the word around here, so I don't think it's any time too quick.
If it's not on the schedule, it probably needs to be put on the schedule. The other times that we used was, the water was fairly discolored. We let it run for a long time, but we ended up not being able to put it in our truck because it never cleared up. So I think if it's not on the schedule, it probably needs to get put on the schedule to start flushing those hydrants and getting them repaired and maintained a little bit. So,
We will get word to Mike.
other than that, that's all I have, unless someone's got some questions for me. Thanks.
So next would be the, let's see here. Building and Grounds Committee report. We're still waiting on that door. Next report would be from the Peg. Say anything, Barry? No?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Hey, well, I attended my first PEG meeting last night, and it was a short one because Barry had to leave to take the next meeting. But I guess the city has now approved the change in the bylaws so that we only need 4 members for a quorum, so we should be able to meet that now. So. And here is a copy of the new bylaws. New business. Consideration of approval for the retail mid-range computers and computer upgrades. Shirley, how is it we came and we found we needed to do this?
Well, I came to find that I need to do it because the Bureau of Elections says to get rid of Windows 7. No longer going to support it. And everything that the Bureau of Elections is going to be doing is going to be on Windows 10.
Oh, just a
So
second.
that's how.
Yeah, okay, well.
And IT Right came in when they first came here. They did an inventory and found what the Windows 7s that we have, which are
Yeah, mine.
yours can be upgraded minimal, but a few $100s actually. And the zoning administrator and the assessor, their computer's very old.
Okay. Would you like to do on this?
Is it right on?
2201.
That's good for right now.
Seems like we put a lot of money in computers.
We put that in.
Well, yeah, Tammy just got, I think she had Windows 7 and she had to upgrade because of the water, the sewer things that were put on.
We need different software.
Oh, 7, we're not gonna do anything with that anymore.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, you can use it, but it isn't going to be supported.
They won't support it, so.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the bid. Upgrade all will be done in yours,
Mine will be
Oh, yeah.
upgraded. Mine
Yeah,
will
we'll
just
be out of
upgraded.
Windows 7
Oh,
with
we'll have
this.
the computer. Upgrade, sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Brian Cruz, seconded by Dean Cruz, to approve the purchase of the computers and computer software upgrades. Any further discussion? We need to do a roll call vote on this? or no?
Yeah. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Long, yes. Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Wonderski,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is consideration of approval in the amount of $400 to Gary Schrader for 6 feet of tennis court repair at the Oak Hill Rec Center.
I'll make a motion now to do
I'll support that.
Okay, a motion by Dean Cruz, support by Tom Hachinsky. Any further discussion? We'll call on that,
No, not for this amount.
okay. All those in favor?
that.
Opposed? The motion is approved, and you can let him know. And the next item is consideration of approval in the amount of $600 to Gary Schrader for cement and removal of concrete at the Fowler Township Fire Department. Okay.
I'll make the motion, we do this.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Kolonowski, support by Dean Cruz to approve the $600 to Gary Schrader for cement and removal of concrete at the Fowler Township Fire Department. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. Item E, discussion on recycling site for recycling electronics. Anybody have any thoughts on the thing that Sarah talked about? Locations, or if we're interested in being a location?
Sir, would we need to have a storage building?
Yes, to establish, well, would it be a building, a storage building, if there's already an existing location that could house the material. But again, it's just all dependent on what we need, but the grant would pay for the purchase of a storage building or a pole barn or whatever it is we decide that we, would need or want, or the site would be able to hold. So, but that would be covered by the grant.
Do they save the platinum out of that, out of the TV too?
The materials that are collected are picked up and collected by the vendor that we work with, the electronics recycler. So they dismantle and recycle all the parts that, that they can. We don't know who that vendor is yet. We're just required by the grant to work with a licensed vendor. So some of the vendors that we, like the one that we work with for the household hazardous waste events is Comprenew out of the Grand Rapids area. And I know that they test some of those computers, and if they're still in usable working condition, they actually refurbish them and resell them or donate them. So some of them are totally taken down to their, the raw materials that can be sold as commodities, and some are refurbished and resold. So it just depends on the condition of the computer itself.
What size building are you thinking of for this area?
Well, it would again, it probably wouldn't have to be a very large one because the vendor would come through on a regular basis to collect the material. But again, until we get all the different counties, because every county within themselves, within our region, would have to still get approval from the county to be a part of the grant. So again, if we have the Calava site as one of those locations, and then this one, down here, it may be that we don't need one as big, or that we can consolidate our materials to the Calava site. Bayer Recycling for Charities is considering and has a licensed electronics recycler that they work with. So it could be that they're going to be the provider that we use for the region. So it would, all depend on how frequently we needed to have the collection. I'm sure initially there'll be, just kind of playing it and servicing it as we need to, because every site is going to be collecting, again, depending on how often we have collections open. If we stick to just the minimum once a month, it may be we're going to get inundated every month, and it'll need to be, collected every month right after that collection event. So, but
We had a little discussion, a few of us, about concern. People know that there's a site here where we're having it. Then they come in the middle of the night, they dump their you know, nobody's manning it, but once a month, they dump their stuff in the middle of the night, we come in the morning, and there's piles of computers or
Right.
printers, or,
Right.
you know, we feel that's could
Well, and that's where, you know, again, kind of working closely with the municipalities to identify a site that maybe that wouldn't be as easy for people to do, that it's not out in the middle of some backwoods area or, you know, an abandoned type area where it is someplace that's more frequently visited. I mean, again, the county's recycling program, the way we have that set up is we have a monitor that, looks at our sites on a regular routine basis, so that would be how I would want it set up here in the county too, is that we've got somebody that is, at least if there is something on the ground, they're gonna be opening up that building or that trailer and getting it put away, because again, as people see it piling up, they're gonna add to the pile, so the the more that we can just keep that from happening, the better, so. And again, depending on what the demand is, I mean, if people, if once a month isn't enough, or maybe there's a number they can call for an appointment, I mean, again, all of these, kind of the logistics could be that maybe they can call and say, I have these, I'm moving or I'm leaving the area, can I drop them off? And someone could attend to them and let them, drop them off out of normal hours.
and it could be like a pod or something too.
Yeah, it could be a pod, right,
Instead of
right,
living in the building or.
right. So really, and that's part of what, I think if either Township decided that would be something we want to work together on, then we would decide together what you would prefer to have. Again, some of the counties that were participating in our meeting said, well, we don't want it to be a pod because of the area that it's going to be in, that we feel that wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing for the area where we would be, having ours, that we would want it to be more of a shed or a pole barn kind of a building than just a pod type thing. So, there's totally flexible, which is what's really nice about this particular grant, because it's not restrictive like so many grants are. It's really allowing it to be what we need, and what works for the community, so.
We have trouble with just our leagues with beds and stuff here.
Yeah,
It's right by the hall.
that's what I'm saying, it could be a concern, but
That's a concern, but we can look at different things. I just don't see a place.
that's what we were talking, maybe like something here where there's cameras,
Yeah.
but you only have so much room, you'd have room for a pod or something. So cameras to keep an eye on it, so people can just ride by in their pickup and throw on a computer, on the way down the road.
And there's the possibility too of maybe partnering with one of the local business owners, maybe,
Fence.
where it could be, they're partnering with us and it's again in their parking lot or what have you, and they're kind of the go-to place once a month for that, and helps bring business into their, their place of business, to be hosting that, and they have regular employees around, or, I think there's a lot of different ways it could possibly happen and still benefit the community. And it would be open to all people, not just Filer Township residents, would be bringing people in possibly from other regions, or other, communities as well. So being this far south in the county, it's not unlikely that we'll have even folks from Ludington, coming up to recycle their electronics here too, so possibility.
Yeah. And the grant would pay for like a pod?
Yes. Right. It's a $10,000 grant.
Yours.
Pod like at Colton Junction. People come in, pick it up parking lot, they buy a pod, put it back here.
There you go.
That's the other one.
Yes, the electronics have to be enclosed. Yes.
Look around and see.
So there's really no commitment that I need other than that, at the point where we actually get awarded the grant, I would, want to come back and say, okay, we got the grant, now I guess, do you want us to continue, having a discussion about putting one in Filer Township?
Because I know right now the VFW is taking a lot of that stuff.
And our computers, they're taking metal, even there's a nice big parking lot.
Right, and so again, if we can enhance the programs that they already have, and it will help
That'd be somebody
bring more
to
people
talk
to them to get more metal, if they could be bringing their metal and their electronics, that's another benefit to, again, is there already a program going on where people are bringing something to
They want to have their business done, not everybody can go in there.
Yeah.
But those places.
And that's what I would need your help on, is just identifying some of the potential
Talk to them anyway.
businesses or
Pizza
locations.
Hut's got a big parking lot.
Is it open all the time, or is it, there certain time,
The
drop off times?
the requirement is only that it's open once a month for a 4-hour period of time. That's the minimum. So we could determine that, again, based on demand. I mean, we could start it out with once a month, and then if it looks like there's a need to have it open more often, then we would work up from there. But the grant requires it just to be open once a month for 4 hours. So that's the minimum. So that, you know, it's not very stringent, stringent expectation. Because they realize that most programs don't have funding to have it staffed more than that, you know, so. yeah.
Well, I guess we can think about that, and you're gonna be in touch with
Yeah.
Jeremy. Okay, public comment again? Betty, anything?
No, the only question I have is, how, you have to go at Lagoon Creek to get to the beach, you have to use the parking lot for the beach? When people pull into Lagoon Creek, many of them are parking at the picnic site,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going down the bluff somehow. How are you supposed to get to the beach?
Walk down that trail and
There's that trail south down the trail past the rock.
It's full of poison ivy and real high brush, and it's a mess. You can't really get there because there is a little sand dune that is covered with poison ivy, and then beyond that, it's like washed out. I just wonder, do you have to go to the parking lot, the beach parking lot, to get to the beach? I haven't walked down the beach parking lot in a long time.
we tried to come up with an idea to make a path down there and a place for people to
But
look
nothing
and
was
walk
done.
down, but it got turned down.
Yeah, nothing was done, because the girls and I tried to go down there, not this year, but when we did, it was terrible. I mean, if you were allergic at all to poison ivy, you would be covered with it.
I was down
And that was
there.
going down what used to be, it looks like a road, and we
Yeah.
talked about a road going in there.
You go down there to the rock, and then there's, at one time, we had Sky Mikulicek, when we had all that medical supplies washed up on the beach, we had him, had one in the roadway with his little loader. He went down, and it gave us an access for our ranger from the fire department to get down to the beach in the event that we had to get down there. But that's what we did years ago. We just, he went in there with his little loader, and he just put a path about 6 foot wide, made a nice gradual slope going down to the beach.
And it was clear.
And it was cleared out, it's 6 feet wide. And it's right there where that, if you go down past the big rock, and you go down there just a little ways, there's a rock, a big rock on the right-hand side. And right there is where because we put the rock there so that, to help stabilize that where we plow down. So, as far as I know, it is, yeah.
Okay. Somebody needs to check it out to see if there's a way down, because they're going down over the cliff.
Because you don't want people going over that bank. We went through that before too.
Well, we had that clean up a month ago. and
Because that bank will start eroding like crazy, and then you'll lose that fence and the picnic area and everything. We
There
went-
was like, 30 of us there, and we all got down there all right. There's a couple different paths. and I wish I would have known about the poison ivy. But, nobody said nothing, didn't get any. And there's about 35 of us got down on the beach.
Lake Michigan Village, though, is full of poison ivy. Even Irma Sutherland's yard had poison ivy. Just a question, just
Yeah,
wondering.
I haven't been out there recently, so. take a look.
There's another way to get down there too, but.
We had that whole group in here from that association raising heck that when we wanted to put a road down there, you know, for an ambulance or something. Holy moly, it almost tore our necks off in here.
You're isolated down there.
Down by the creek.
Yeah.
You're really isolated.
We're lucky we got a nice parking lot over there. When's that going in anyway?
You
It's up for
know, we're
bids.
supposed
Up
to
for
start.
bids.
It's up for bids right now.
Yeah,
We were hoping we'd be pretty quick. But I know we tried to
they're
put
doing the
a
bidding.
roadway down there and
the
We
bids
got
will
too
be
much
coming
staff.
soon.
Trying to kill off that poison ivy with some rock, so.
Betty, one wants it natural and the other wants the,
That's.
everything to be cleared
Oh,
out so
yeah.
they can
Right,
scoot down there.
right.
Okay, anything more on that? Okay, well, any other business to come before the board? Dean, anything?
nothing, it's good to be back.
No, no, audit next week.
All right.
No,
No.
None for me either. Well, that being the case, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
Brian Cruz, second by Dean Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for
what
coming.
are you doing next month?